Your man was hoping you wasn't naked with that title belt on.
Oh, not quite. Is this video going live anywhere?
Are we live now?
Well, we recording now. I mean, we're not going live nowhere.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just gonna be wearing this beautiful IWGP title on my shoulder for no reason whatsoever.
Okay, at least it's on your shoulder.
Yeah, not across your lap.
Yeah, man.
Oh, shit.
I just saw you posted it. I'm like, yo, why haven't I done this yet? All right, I'm gonna do it right now.
Shit, some people will be mad. That shit is hilarious. I'm posting that shit everywhere. I told myself today I was gonna take a social media day off because I spent so much time yesterday recording and creating that unboxing video and editing it. And then
I'm just seeing it.
I was, yeah. Oh, you just saw it now?
Yeah.
That shit is hilarious.
You
I
need
said
to
I
make
was
that
going
a
to stay off
sticker.
social media today, and now I'm like, nah, I got to figure out a way to post that everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. You need to make that a sticker.
That needs to go. It looks like a sticker, right?
Yeah.
It came off of the.
Yeah.
Put that on a shirt.
No, nah, that's too much, bro. I don't need my mom seeing that shit.
Hey, man. My mom
Ay,
used to
mijo, ¿qué es esto, mijo?
My mom used to get mad as fuck at me because, like, in high school, I had like a bootleg racket for making T-shirts and shit, which I would just go to Walmart and get the iron-on paper, and I would just print shit out of my printer and put it on shirts, and people thought that was a business and shit.
Oh,
but
shit.
Like, I was printing out like porn pics and shit and printing it and then putting it on shirts and shit.
Actually, one of the funniest shirts that I had seen in a long time was
the one Dan got that's had the Everything Club on the back.
Well, that was pretty funny. But no, it was why can't I get out of this screen? I just got a new laptop and it keeps okay, there we go.
There you go.
My friend's parents, they came from fucking Cuba and shit, so they didn't really know too much about English and trademarks and all that shit. So they had gotten all these free clothes from somewhere when they had just got here. And
I see that all the time.
My friend showed me a picture of his dad wearing a shirt that said Coca-Cola. It was the Coca-Cola logo.
Yeah.
But it says come mierda. And in Spanish, it literally translates to shit eater.
Yeah.
Which is, that's what you call someone who's like a dummy, like
dumbass.
kind of like just a dumbass. He's a come mierda. And that shit's so funny. He got a dead ass straight look on his face, like he's just wearing a Coke shirt and it says come mierda with his kids there. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, I see that shit all the time at the whenever I did when I was working at the ICE office and shit. And it's just like they come in there wearing all kinds of crazy shit or whatever. It's just like one is the most ironic one that you see most of the time. It'll be the patriotic shirts and shit, like proud to be an American and shit. And
yeah,
it's like, what the come on, man.
Well, I went to BJ's today and I went shopping and I got this new shirt. I mean, I'm sure you saw it yesterday with the pictures or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I definitely got some looks from some people today who seem to have a problem with me wearing this I love black people shirt. And I was, just doing my own thing, kind of shopping or whatever. And I noticed some people looking. I was hoping somebody would try to say something stupid so I could go viral.
Just like run up on me.
Just say something to me. What if I wear I love white people shirt? Go right ahead, motherfucker. See how that goes for you.
Yeah, and then it wouldn't really work if you're white and you're wearing a shirt that say I love white people.
You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't work that way, player. But I don't know if Dan coming or not, but
I think he's doing his own show in a minute.
Yeah, I think he did it earlier.
Hey, he said he was doing it.
She love black people. Lou fell off. Then he fell back.
I was like, okay, there he is.
See, man, you took your glasses off and it was like, nah, I can't do this.
Just like that. Damn, that shit just kicked me the fuck out. Very strange. But I think he's doing his thing at 4, so he might be coming up on his time to get ready for his own show.
Oh, yeah, I thought he did it earlier this morning.
That's what I was asking him. I was like, are you going to go live or are you posting it at 4? Because it don't really matter because I'll listen regardless. But
yeah.
He said he might pop in. He's getting lunch now.
I see it. Well, what up, everybody? This is
I'm
your boy
running
B
errands,
Rob,
so
and
I
I am.
mean,
Oh man, you just stepped all over the
That's
intro. I
all
was
over the
just
intro.
stepped all over it.
I
God
did.
damn.
Okay, hold on. What up, everybody? It's your boy B Rob, and I'm back with another edition of the Random Readings with Rob podcast.
You forgot the rest?
Oh my God.
Well,
First and foremost, I'd like to thank you, the listener, for coming back each and every week, or however you listen to podcasts.
damn.
Not bad.
If
That's not
it's
bad
your
at all.
first time, if it's your first time listening, I'd like to thank you oh so much for giving my show a try. And if anybody recommended you to me, go on and lean over and give that person a crisp high five. Or if you don't want to be touching hands or you're socially conscious, pick up your favorite social media app of choice and send them a well-crafted DM telling them thank you for recommending you to me.
Wow.
God damn.
I told you I say it all the time.
That is applause worthy.
Well, speaking of social media, you can follow 3R Show, the Random Randoms with Rob on social media, on Twitter at 3R Show, Instagram at the 3R Show. You can see video interviews just like the one you may be watching right now. But if not, you can find it on YouTube by searching 3R Show. And for anything that I may have forgotten to mention, you can find it all on randomrob.com. Randomrob.com, to where you can find many different ways to help support the show and our illustrious sponsor, Hooks, Rubs, and Spices. Hooks, Rubs, and Spices. Go to hooksrub.com to where you can get 15% off your order if you use promo code RANDOM.
Rub it all
You
over.
put that shit on all over your food or whatever. What
Smack
else
it
you
up,
can
flip it,
find on
rub it down.
whatever. Something else that you can find on randomrob.com is merchandise. One like my man Lou is proudly sporting right here on camera, and I appreciate it very much. You can also, until they get their own thing or whatever, go to randomrob.com and you can get this nice Wrestling This Trash beanie for the cold season.
I need that.
Which we getting the cold spurt going on right now. And then I had to pull this off of here. You can get you some fitteds too for the Wrestling This Trash. And then you got my favorite saying of all time that was born not on Wrestling This Trash, but it was a show that my first wrestling show that I ever did with Matt McCool and Josh Lopez, called The Pipe Bomb with McCool and Company, to where I told everybody that I did not like, they can go the fuck home. So that was my jam. That's my shit right there.
Very nice. Very nice.
And so support the cause. You can get the Trash Boys shirts over there on randomrob.com until they get their own thing or whatever. They probably pop up a red bubble or something here pretty soon or whatever they have. And hit up Codex Prime. I would sport one of their shirts, but their shirts are shitty as hell. They need a new logo.
We got a good logo.
No, don't do that. Don't do that, bro.
You got a wizard shirt. Goddamn postage stamp from the 1800s and shit. What is that?
Listen, hey.
I rocked the DJ Call Bird logo before I rocked that Codex Prime shirt. Is he looking for his shirt?
Yes, I am.
Wait, you had the purple and yellow one or the full blown wizard?
See, Chris Jericho was listening to y'all podcast. He stole the wizard gimmick from you.
Exactly. We everywhere, baby.
I want to see his damn shirt.
Which one? Now I just went yesterday and spent fucking 2 hours folding all those goddamn shirts in that goddamn dresser. Now they're all fucked up.
You're welcome.
Looking for this. God damn it. That's what the fuck.
Oh, nah, that's the good one. That's the good one. I'm talking about the podcast joint.
He bugging. This is the only one I know.
Yeah, that's the good one. I'm talking about the goddamn wizard one and shit.
Unfortunately for me.
All right, yeah, that's the old logo. All right, we're gonna have to hook you up with the new one.
Yeah. Well, nah, my brother. You ain't got to hook me up. I'm going to have to go on and do it the old-fashioned way and buy it on your website or wherever you post your wares.
That's goddamn right. Let's get that shit out the way right now.
Because goddamn hopes and prayers can only go so far.
Listen, we out here pumping this content out. We out here pumping this content out to you people, you good people out there. Y'all need to start fucking doing something, bro. You ain't got to pay for it. but goddamn it, like it, retweet it, share it, put it in your Instagram story. Buy a shirt when it's on sale, bro. My shirt's going on sale for $14, bro.
Yeah.
This crispy ass shirt right here. You see this shit?
Which I have one of those. I got the American flag version.
Shit. That's the Cody version of the Everything Club shirt. Crispy ass, soft ass shirt for $14. Where the fuck you gonna find a shirt for $14, bro?
Yeah, other than Walmart. Oh damn a shirt because damn, I need to get a starting 5 logo in my life. I got some stickers and everything, but I have not bought a proper T-shirt.
That is something I need.
I think wrestling is trash is the only one I'm missing.
Shit, I'm missing that one except for the hats because you know I'm a hat guy. But
yeah, we got to get on that shirt thing. We're gonna work on some logos. I don't know. We like took over your show. We're just talking all kind of bullshit.
Man, that's it's in capable hands, and I appreciate you for continuing the lineage and all that shit or whatever. But like, I just like recently came up on y'all talking about, you know, you calling yourself the Trash Boys and shit now or whatever.
Yes.
And I'm just like, it's like almost like a play like the Ass Boys and shit,
right?
But Trash Boys. And I was like, why is that not a shirt yet?
Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because none of us are
savvy
none of us
like
went
that,
to school and did any designing work, so I don't know how to come up with my own shit. So I got
y'all.
Oh, let me tell you, like this right here, this logo, this came straight out of an Adobe app. All I did was type the words in and it popped it up by its damn self. The only thing that I modified is which I told you was my favorite part of the logo, the is. All I did was like tilt it to the side. That's all I did.
and you keep saying we should get a new logo. I love that logo. I think that logo is fucking awesome. I even love the one that says the good and the bad on the bottom. I love that logo.
Yeah. No, my whole thing was like, it's just like, it's yours. So it's just like, I'm just like, you should feel free to do whatever it is that you want to. Do you want to keep the logo? Cool, fine. But I'm just saying, man, just make it your own.
In the palm of your hand, it's yours. 23 million of usage, it's yours. Sorry.
Yeah, but like, just I wanted to talk with the Trash Boys, but we got some Codex Prime up in here and everything. It's funny as hell that we never get no Vic around. He probably out there moistening his beard or some shit.
He's been doing that. He's been doing a lot of that lately. Honestly,
I know. They done pulled back them restrictions. He's starting to feel safe.
You should never be, in regards to speaking about another man, use the word moist in any way.
Hey. Yeah, that's y'all northerners.
Unless he just baked you some fresh chocolate chip cookies and them shits is chewy and moist, then that's acceptable. Probably that's about it.
I say all the goddamn words. I'm confident in my masculinity or whatever, and I can say whatever the fuck I want.
No pause.
God damn it. No pause. No freaking what else y'all say? Son, B, dead ass, none of that shit.
I don't even think people say that anymore, honestly.
I don't know. That's the only reference I got to like old school New York slang and shit.
Dead ass B.
Dead ass B, straight up and down. But like milestones, not too long ago, Wrestling is Trash came across 100 episodes, and hell, Codex Prime walked across that 300 episode milestone or whatever. So I mean, what I wanted to do today was it was a surprise that Carl jumped on, but like mostly the Wrestling is Trash guys. I wanted to see how y'all feeling or whatever. I know Lou, you're a veteran. You've been doing this for a mighty long time or whatever, but it was more so geared toward like Nick and how you feeling, because I know you relatively new to doing the podcast thing.
Right.
Just wanted to get where your headspace was on this whole endeavor. And then shit, Carl, I mean, how you feeling, man? 300 fucking episodes, bro.
That's crazy.
300 plus. A lot of people thought we wasn't even gonna do it. Even some of us thought we wasn't gonna make it, but then we just end up. It just kind of snuck up on us. We kept going, and next thing you know, we like, yo, we almost at 300. I'm like, holy shit, we got to do something. And doing the live show was Vic's idea, and we just helped put it together. And then next thing you know, like we're doing all the stuff that we're doing. We just did a couple of panels at Rhode Island Comic Con with Christian Lita. I know I sent you guys one of the videos. Vic did a couple of Star Wars ones. I did another one with some local TikTok stars, and another one with Bill Diamond, with who's a master puppeteer who created who actually constructed like the ET puppet and a lot of Jim Henson puppets.
Nice.
Wow.
So yeah, we was at that. We was busy that Comic Con, and I still spent a lot of money, but that's what I do at Comic Cons anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have like a whole bunch of stuff on the horizon, a bunch of stuff that we're working on. So it's become such a huge part of our lives now, where we just kind of just do it.
Word. Lou, how
That's
you
dope.
feeling, man? Because I mean, from the
Honestly,
first time that I spoke to you, just like about doing the Everything podcast or whatever, you was going through some life changes and everything
right.
personally and whatnot. And then you kind of step back, then you step back in and everything. Then you linked up with Nick and all them to do Wrestling This Trash. So, like, what has your journey been like so far?
Well, yeah. So I started my show in 2016, and you know, the Everything podcast is just kind of like my little passion project, aka my personal therapy session podcast, where I kind of just talk about anything, right? So I did the show. I was really solid on the show for like the first year or two, and then, you know, missed the episode here and there, and then kind of started going through some personal stuff with my ex-wife. So the show took a bit of a hiatus, and then when I finally got myself away from her and that whole situation, I kind of made a comeback, and then, you know, I hate to use the D word, but that depression thing is a very weird thing
Yeah,
because it
it
comes in
is.
all shapes and sizes, and it affects people in so many different ways. And sometimes you don't even know it's affecting you until you look in the mirror one day and you're like, "Whoa, what the fuck is what am I doing?" So, you know, took another kind of break here and there, and I just decided the show was getting to a point where I felt like it was work,
Yeah.
and I ain't working unless I'm getting paid. Now, if I'm getting paid, that's a whole different thing. I'll sit there and hash out shows and do blueprints and look like that meme with from Always Sunny with the dude with
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
notes all over the wall. But you know what I mean? But as far as Wrestling Is Trash goes, I kind of feel like it's invigorated my love for podcasting. And I've always felt like my show, because it's a solo show that I do on my own, it started to feel like work. And I always said, I'd rather do it by myself because then I don't got to worry about anybody else's shit. If they're going to be late, if they don't want to do it,
Yeah.
I'll do it myself. And working with Nick and Dan, it kind of like started rebuilding up my love of doing the actual work and, you know, just actually potting with friends.
Yeah.
It's fun. It becomes fun. And now Nick and I are to the point where we're texting each other right after the episode's done about, okay, next week, what are we doing? What's next week's topic? What's the final? We're booked till the end of the year already with shows.
Word.
So I actually really do need to hash out some notes today because I'm not gonna have time tomorrow. But yeah, it just kind of it's been real cool. Like when I jumped on the episodes when you were running the show with Nick, we always had fun, and then that's when I was just like a sporadic guest.
Yeah.
But now being like a solid co-host, kind of like co-anchor of the show, it's become a lot of fun to come up with ideas and doing all these YouTube shorts and TikToks and all this other silly shit that we've been doing. It's kind of fun to see the views go up. So I'm actually really enjoying it, man. It's pretty dope.
And that's crazy because like I kind of felt like whenever I was doing it or whatever, it was more off the hip than anything or whatever. Whenever Nick started to come into the fold and we would do it, you know, more frequently, you know, just me and him or whatever, he'd always come at me with these ideas and stuff, texting me these things and whatnot. And I was just like, yeah, that's cool, but I kind of just want to bullshit, you know, because that's my forte, that's my thing or whatever. Right. And whenever I got pulled over for RBR and everything, just, you know, the workload and trying to do all that, I was like, I think Nick would be good, like to just start his own thing or like carry on with this one because I mean, he enjoys it from what I can understand and what I see and everything, and just like he always has these ideas and all these topics and whatnot. So I was just like, hey man, why don't you just do it? Why don't you put the gauntlet on and be like, I'll do it myself?
Yeah, it's funny with Nick. It's funny with Nick too because like we're like, again, we're doing it because it's fun.
Yeah,
we're not really like in the actual process of really trying to build a show because that takes a lot of work to sit there and really work on it. But it's funny because Nick is just like, I don't really care, man. I just like talking with my boys and doing the shows. I don't really care about building. But then he'll like, I'll upload shorts and shit, And I'm looking at the analytics and I'm like, oh shit, look at that. Like we've doubled our views. And like, oh shit, we got like yesterday we doubled our followers. And because that literally happened today, I told him. But then he'll text me like out of the random. He'll be like, hey man, we got like 78 views on that video you posted yesterday. I'm like, oh motherfucker, I thought you didn't care about that shit. So it's just it's funny. Like he has you would think he has like a carefree attitude, but he actually really cares about doing this shit, which is really cool.
Yeah, I've worked with him in the military capacity or whatever, and he once he sink in, he in it, whatever. So I mean, he can get passionate about his craft and whatnot. So it's
Right.
just like it's good to have somebody at the helm, or just to kind of guide the ship or whatever. So I mean, like I said, I feel that's why I have no objections, no qualms to what goes on with wrestling this trash. That's why I was like, you want to change the logo, change the logo. You want to do this. I mean, it's because it's yours. I mean, I'm just here in the support aspect now.
Nice. Yeah, it's pretty dope, man. And again, we thank you for extending that hand out. Let me come on there, man, because I had my own bro. I started a wrestling podcast like a couple of years ago, and I called it the Everything Wrestlecast. And I literally just used the Bullet Club's theme as my my theme song. Like I didn't even give a fuck about getting in trouble or any of that bullshit. I made a mock version of my logo with that. Well, it's right here actually.
Yeah.
I made the mock logo of the Bullet Club shit and used their theme music. And man, I did that first episode and it was fun. And then when because what I did was I fucking went over news and then I literally reviewed Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and I think I talked some Impact. And the show was like fucking 3 hours. And then I was sitting there.
That was hard to listen to. I tried.
Bro. And the next week, I was like writing ideas down and I sat there and I was looking at my notebook and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a week off. And that was it. I never recorded another episode. Because like, how the fuck do you... I cannot sit... I'm not going to sit there and be forced to watch. Like, I'll watch Raw if I want to watch it. But you ain't going to force me to watch the shit if it's trash. And it was really trash at the time when I made that show. So I think 2019 was like one of the worst years for WWE period as far as their product. That's the year when Stephanie and all them came out into the ring, was like, look guys, we know we're fucking up, but we're working on it. I was 2018 or 2019, one of those two.
Something like that.
So yeah, the idea of sitting there and writing, because I wrote an entire thing about Raw, like every match, I went over every hold and the ending, and then it was ridiculous. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
Yeah, but that's crazy because like you at a solo capacity would compose a 3-hour show solely about professional wrestling. I mean, which I mean is unheard of. I don't think I've ever come across any solo podcast to do a 3-hour show about a particular topic for that long. I mean, it's different when you have someone like RBR or these other multi-person thing, because I mean those tend to run longer because you have multiple people with multiple thoughts and all kinds of stuff. You go down rabbit holes and shit. But for one single person
for 3 hours, I can't do that.
I've been known to go an hour just rambling off about some shit or whatever, but I gotta have a lot of motivation and some bullshit happen for me to do some stuff like that. But 3 hours, come on, player.
Yeah, it was the idea of continuing to do that every week was daunting, to say the least. So I never did another episode. And that shit actually disappeared into the ether because I was on Podbean at the time and I switched over to Anchor and lost all my Podbean shit. So that episode it's like it never existed.
Yeah. So Carl, I mean, y'all been doing Codex for quite a while and everything. And I mean, y'all covered the gambit of everything. Y'all recently did the video game awards or whatever. Y'all do movie reviews, freaking you talk about professional wrestling, all kinds of shit or whatever. I mean, has it ever been a conversation earlier on or even recently to where like y'all want to diversify your portfolio and maybe do a separate podcast to deal with one particular topic, or y'all just wanted to keep it all into one fold?
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that this podcast was gonna be like for nerd, by nerds, for nerds, and we didn't really want to like discriminate anybody. I'm like, yeah, I have my favorites. Vic has his favorites and stuff. So it's like we wanted to make it for everybody. So we try to cover as much as we can, as much as our fandoms as we can. And there's there's fellow fans for, you know, like there's something for everybody. Where I'm basically trying to get at, and we want it to be like that type of platform where it can be for everybody.
Word. But
Yeah,
like
so
just the contrast between you and Vic and everything, it gets me every time because it was like Carl be like, "Yeah, man, this shit is cool," and Vic would be like, "Well, actually," and sip his tea and put his pinky out and shit.
Indubitably.
And I
It's
was just
actually
like,
funny. It's
it gets
actually
me
funny
every
because
fucking time.
I literally like I don't know, maybe like an hour ago got done listening to the latest episode with the Game Awards. And like I said in the group chat, man, it was I really enjoy, I have a hard time listening to people's podcasts because number one, for some reason I feel like I'm gonna steal, not purposely, but
Yeah.
like I'm kind of gonna like rob an idea from someone, and I hate to do that. So it's very hard for me to listen to shows. And then my number one pet peeve is that if your audio sounds like shit, I'm not listening to this. So
nah,
I
I
tuned
get
into you guys' show, and you guys all sounded crispy. You guys all had points, and you got them all across, and you went through the entire Game Awards show. You all had good points. I really fucking enjoyed it. I actually was kind of like, damn, I kind of wanted to be here for this episode because I watched the Game Awards. I'm over here I'm playing Horizon while y'all are talking about Horizon. And y'all talking about Stray. Like there's two games this year that were in running, and I played two of them, so I kind of wanted to like talk about them. So
Yeah, and that's kind of like a thing as well. Like since I'm doing a wrestling podcast now, and y'all doing the wrestling is trash and everything, I tend to listen to y'all after I do my shit because like what I find myself doing is like kind of co-opting people's ideas and their thoughts into my own mainstream of conscious or whatever whenever I'm doing my own wrestling show and shit. So I just
right.
like, all right, I gotta do my shit first, then listen to y'all because I don't want to ape y'all shit. But if I wind up catching myself doing that shit, I do give y'all the shout out. I'll be like, hey, I got that from them. You know?
Yeah, we do that as well. We just like to take, so if we do like something, be like, oh, we should do something like this. All right, we just kind of just take it at our spin to it. Definitely give the credit, but yeah, like the whole there was the versus thing that we did a while back where I took it from Jericho where they put one album against another album, and here we go. You pointing them. And I was just like, yo, this was a cool concept. I'm like, all right, since we're doing hip hop, let me get Dan and my man Bad Lad in here, speaking of the devil. And yeah, we just kind of went in. It was probably one of our best hip hop discussion episodes ever. So it's like, so then, yeah, we did the retro gaming one. We're just like, damn, we could have had like, I just, like last minute was like, yo, we could have had like this person on, this person on, this person on. And it would have been even much more fun. So yeah, I'm like sometimes I just try to flip it to some of your own, but yeah, that always definitely give the credit.
Dan, the mayor himself. I mean, oh shit, fuck. I'm sorry. I made a fatal mistake in the time that I've known you. I have always been instructed not to give you an introduction, sir. Could you please introduce yourself into the call?
You know what? This time could have been fine because y'all the homies, and this is me cracking the mic for the first time in almost 2 months, about a month and a half. So it's your boy the mayor, that DJ named Ace 5. Still your mom's favorite fat guy. Just kicking it with the homies for a minute.
From where?
Well, it's actually the inside of a hut in deepest, darkest Africa because I'm not outside just yet. I'll be outside in the wilderness in a minute. Got the new heater rolling and all that. But
I mean, this is
yeah,
kind of
man.
a culture shock, man. It's just like you're actually you pointed it out. It's like I actually noticed it. I was like, wait a minute, this motherfucker's inside.
Yeah. I was literally like, I just finished eating. I was just getting myself ready to go set up outside and all that. Like I got, some of y'all might have seen it, some of y'all might not have. I just bought this ill heater that is $150 heater. I got it for $65, and that shit has been one of the best investments ever for smoking in the cold. And so, I'm just right now, I'm still trying to get myself mentally ready to do our show in a little bit because like I said, it's been almost 2 months, almost 2 months of not podcasting, and I was ready. Funny enough was that I was ready to come back, and then I text my boys, and I'm like, "Yo, are y'all, did y'all, were y'all ready to come back this week? Because the year's almost over,
Yeah.
and ain't nobody doing a show on my birthday, so that's out the question." You know what I'm saying? And they was just like, "Oh, well, we actually was planning on doing a show," so I was like, "Oh, great." The first return show that they were going to do without me, I'm ready to come back.
Uh, it's like you never left.
It's yeah. So once again, the Star Five podcast has not been able to run without me. But this ain't about me. What the fuck are we talking about?
Well, actually, we wind all the people here. We are talking about you, but like, that was the thing. Since you brought it up or whatever, you took a brief hiatus and everything or whatever. Um, for as long as I've been doing this since 2016, I have never taken a day off. I've never taken a break from putting out an episode and everything. And I know Lou has taken a break and stepped away. I know you just are recently coming back, Carl. I don't think y'all ever took a long hiatus, have you?
I have. Vic filled in for a bit. Vic did the solo thing for a bit, but I have took a hiatus.
Mhm. And whenever
Probably
you
2 weeks ago.
yeah. And whenever those things happen, or whatever, whenever you decide to take a break for whatever the reason may be or whatnot, do you feel like it's hard to make the comeback, to sit down in front of the microphone again, or is it like a charge of an adrenaline or some shit like that? It's like, oh shit, I'm back in this motherfucker.
Lou, you
Yeah, the
you
latter.
answer
For me,
first.
it was the latter.
Lou, you answer that first because you have done this break
Several times.
for way too long, too many times, and
I've taken too many breaks. Every time I feel like I'm getting like back on my feet with my show, I take, it's almost like I take 2 steps backwards. I know that's a stupid cliche, but
Mhm.
whenever I do, I know that the last time I came back from a break, I feel like that episode was not good. Like it was like 3 or 4 episodes ago. I came back and I felt like I slept walk through it. I didn't really give a shit about what I was talking about, but I felt like I had to do something. So I put an episode out, and that was like the last one before I just took the previous break, which was like in August. But I just did an episode this week, and it was funny because I was taking little notes all week in the notes app for like an episode, and I was putting little things in, little ideas were popping up, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to add this, I want to add this," and then I've been watching these really fucking terrible fucking movies on Amazon Prime. And I've been like, you know what? I don't have nobody to talk to about this shit. Why don't I talk about it on the fucking show?
Mhm.
So I was, putting little notes in, and then I was, literally Thursday night, I was looking at the notes, and I was like, oh shit, I got enough to do a whole fucking episode of this. So I decided to do it, and then Friday, as soon as I set everything up and started recording, bro, I felt good. Like I felt like I didn't mean to talk for 45 minutes at the beginning of the episode, because usually I don't like to do that. I like to do an intro,
Mhm.
kind of do a little catch up, and then go, I'm going to talk about this, and I take a little break, and I come back and record the next segment. But I just talked for like 46 fucking minutes about bullshit, and it felt good. And then I came back, did the segment about the movies and shit, and it felt really good. So this time around, it was much more pleasurable than times in the past, because there's been times in the past where I've come back and it was just forced, and I could feel it was forced, and it doesn't make for a good product.
Yeah, I can understand that. What about you, Carl?
Yeah, whenever it is for us, like if we don't have anything, we'll just be like, all right, we'll talk it over. Nope, we don't have anything. We're gonna just take the day off. We do that sporadically here and there. But when I took my hiatus, a lot of personal stuff going on. But then I was just like, you know what? Like when I came back, there was just so much going on and so much that needed. I was like, yo, I need to speak on this. I need to speak on this. I need to speak on this. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready, because, like I said, I had that restart, that reset. I was charged up, and yeah, by the time I got back, I was like going in on like everything.
Word, word. What
Dan
about
is
you?
about to go, but just real quick,
I
right
ain't
before
leave just yet. I ain't
I know.
leave. I
I
got
ain't going
No,
nowhere,
no, no.
motherfucker.
I
trying to
mean,
chase
you was
me
about
out.
to
I know. I
you
you
about
know.
to put your 2 cents in. I want to have a question about this particular topic, so don't steer away from it after Dan is done, because I just
Okay.
kind of want to ask you guys a
No,
question.
ask it. Go ahead.
Okay, so do you feel like when, because you guys, I consider you all professionals in this. So one of the problems that I have when I do my show is that I got to a point where I was talking about politics, and one of the topics that I'm very I don't want to say passionate about, but one of those I'm very interested in talking about is like this whole transgenderism.
Hold on. Let me stop
Like
the recording real quick.
yeah, stop it. I
No,
just
go
look,
ahead.
it's just something that fascinates me as far as how it's affecting the world, but
Yeah.
that's not what I want to talk about. My thing is, how do you feel about like when you're talking about things like this that are serious? Because for the most part, my show is goo goo gaga, like
Yeah.
it's comics and movies and whatever. But when
Yeah.
you want to talk about something serious, I find a lot of the times that I don't know if I'm even qualified to be talking about a lot of the things that I try to talk about.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I sometimes when I'm on my show and I'm spitting whatever I'm spitting, I'm like afterwards I'm like fuck it, like I feel like I'm kind of caught up in my own words sometimes, because it's like I'm not an expert at any of this shit. So
Yeah.
who am I to be like, you know what I'm saying, talking about this?
The beautiful thing about where we are in life when it comes to the podcast space and just new media in general is if you have a voice, use it. Be careful on how you use said voice
Right.
because I mean, obviously, if you are set to if your points of view are more along the lines on allyship, of course that's going to look good. If you're part, and that's thinking of what you just mentioned, but if your points of view are along the lines of I hate it, this, that, and the third, and yada yada yada. Like there's a pod out there that I'm cool with the dudes. I listen to them all the time. They say some crazy ass shit. And anytime stuff like what you just mentioned comes up, they'll talk against it because that's who they are, that's how they're raised, or whatever, whatever. Speak your mind, speak whatever you feel is right. Speak what you think your audience might want to hear.
Yeah.
And then the problem is you got to stand on that afterwards.
Yeah, true.
And that problem and that can be quote unquote a problem or a
Yeah.
good thing. However
Yeah.
you choose to spin it, however strong your back is to hold whatever weight that comes on pause that comes on you,
There you go with that shit. We know
hey,
what you mean.
I know that. I know that. You're never gonna take the New Yorker out of me. Stop that shit. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? It's all on because y'all know my show. Y'all know historically how it gets down on our show. We talk that shit whether people like it or not, whether people are tuning in or not. On top of that, which that's one of them things you will never ever see me share my Spotify Wrapped because it's still embarrassing to me, and that's a part of why I was out and gone for a little while. But if y'all want to get to that, we'll get to that. But if you feel strong about that shit right here, talk that shit and fuck what the others say when it comes down to
Right.
it. People ain't gonna like everything.
Yeah. Also, whenever you say what you say, I mean, it's from you and on you or whatever. Don't be like, I'm representing, I'm speaking for these people or whatever. Nah,
Yeah.
it's gotta be you.
Yeah, I try to never ever do that. I always try to preface everything I say with like, look, this is me, this is how I feel, and it is what it is. Um,
And
and it's
that's
just
how it
like
should be.
yeah, and it's just from my point of view, I haven't done it yet, and I'm gonna do it one day. I'm gonna talk about that topic that I mentioned earlier, but it's like I'm trying to do it in a way where it's like kind of like I don't want to say educational, but like I'm the thing is with me is that I'm coming from my perspective. It's I grew up a certain way. I think
Yeah.
all of us probably grew up
Oh
the
yeah.
same way.
Similarly, probably.
You know, gay people and all that. I grew up in a very, very, very religious home. So gay people, all that shit was a
They
no-no.
all going to
All
hell.
that.
That's what's
Everybody's going to
happening, right?
hell. Everybody's gonna burn in fucking Hades, all that shit. And I've transitioned into a man of 44 years old now who's like, I'm seeing a change in the culture and I'm living through it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going from having those thoughts when I was younger of like gays are bad and people, transgender people are evil and all that shit. And now I'm like growing into a person where I'm like, yo, man, love is love, bro. If you want to be who you are, you be who you are, bro, as long as you're not hurting nobody. So it's like, that's kind of like where I want to come from with like the episode when I do it. But there's also more than that involved, and it's just a whole thing. It's been driving me crazy, and I just want to. Sometimes I feel like I'm not like, who am I to be talking this shit?
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
you write your episodes out, so that actually is a great episode to take your time, tell your story about your journey to quote air quotes righteousness.
Yeah, because you don't want to be
and
talking
to
out the
and
side of your neck
into it.
like I do.
Yeah, like you don't want to just talk to talk. Like you sound like you got a well thought out story you want to tell, and
Right.
how, like you said, like we always talk about how we love Nyla Rose. There's a part of that in that, you know what I'm saying, and into your growth of being accepting.
I actually got
You
a
know what I'm
funny story
saying?
about that. When I went to the pay-per-view, I went to the movie theater to go watch the last pay-per-view, and Nyla had that match with Jade.
Yeah.
And before the match came on, they show those little vignettes of their beef or whatever, and that came on after some match. I forget what it was. And some dude in the theater yells out, "Yeah, Nyla Rose, that tranny." And I immediately after the words came out of his mouth, I was like, "Hey, bro, shut the fuck up, bro. We don't do that shit here. Like, we don't do that shit here." And a couple people were like, "Yeah," and a couple grumbles here and there. But that was the last time anything like that happened from that crowd on that show.
Good.
It's like, come on, man. We're all fucking, come on, dude. We're all grown ass people up in here trying to watch fucking wrestling on a goddamn movie screen, and it's like, you come on, man. There ain't no place for that shit, bro.
Nah, it's not at
It's
all.
moments like that too that keep your ass in the house after a while too.
Yeah,
It's like,
listen,
I
ain't worried about. I ain't scared of none of these people, bro.
Max.
They wanna,
especially around here, son. Keep the toolie on the hip.
As he reaches for his waistband.
Yeah, it's shit. Fuck all that.
Yeah, but I mean,
especially coming from your
IWGP. That shit's solid as fuck, boy. Every time he slap it, I'm like, what?
Rub it down.
Oh no.
He did. He has clothes on, so
yeah, he got clothes on this time.
I gotta when we get done, I gotta throw that picture up somewhere. That shit is hilarious.
Anyway, good job, Carl.
I don't know where that came from, but it's hilarious.
It's the cover to this show.
I just thought about it. I'm like, why haven't I
downloading it right now?
That's the cover art for this episode.
I'm downloading it right now.
Highest rated episode of the Random Rob show ever.
Probably. Oh shit. But yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem.
How's it been for you transitioning from your own wrestling show you created to jumping into something that's established and it's been around, has got this audience? You're trying to like fit yourself in there.
Well, it's weird for one, because I mean, I've dealt with me when it comes to this wrestling shit or whatever, to move into a thing that has been established going on well over freaking 17 years now.
Wow.
Is big shoes to step into. But also to like what you were saying earlier, when how you and Nick and Dan try to get together and formulate your show and you try to come up with topics and everything. I mean, that's a benefit of it being around so long that it's already laid out for me. I just step in the pocket and I just follow the freaking breadcrumbs and shit.
Kind of ad lib.
Yeah, and just kind of fill in.
That's literally how y'all do, because I'm actually still finishing this week's episode, which I usually give you my feedback all the time, which is absolutely. You know what, I've stuck on and I've been listening faithfully weekly. I do chime in if I'm like up late at night doing laundry on a Wednesday. I will try to catch y'all live, but y'all show is, once you get past and understand how the personalities are,
oh boy,
and especially if you love dry humor, like you'll get them. RBR is a very good show if y'all could stick it out and listen to them, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, RBR is y'all are cool over there. I still just to keep it real with you, I've always felt like you could have pulled that same thing off with your own thing. You know what I'm saying? And this is again, homie to homie. Like I really felt with Wrestling is Trash, you could actually talk wrestling on this show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no shots at your boys because I've said this to you countless amounts of time. I think you could have had Wrestling is Trash along the same heights as myself, but that's just my personal
Yeah.
vision for the homies. And same thing, Lou, with everything podcast. As long as I've known you, all of our shit should have be fucking skyrocketed. And we all did. You know what I'm saying? I wish we all did have everything skyrocketed. And, just to actually get into my hiatus, if y'all don't mind,
Yeah.
a
Speak
part
it.
of it, a part of it had to do with a lack of success. And funny that I'm here once again. Y'all crew was the first before I sent it to my Star and Five brothers. Y'all were the first ones that I sent the lengthy message to stating why I took the hiatus. Now we've taken breaks in the past, which it would be a couple weeks here, a couple weeks there, but this one has been the longest one since LG and I started doing podcasting back in 2014 when he started to deal with school and we not started to not be able to connect together and we just weren't recording as often. But this time was literally because of my own sanity and the want for success, the hunger for success, the hunger to do better and not seeing any growth out of it was literally doing me. And
Mm-hmm.
and Lou, I'm not going into our personal conversation too much after when I was ready to come back, but a piece of that conversation, without giving details, was when I began to look for within other people the same level of dedication that I had to potting. You know, I've looked for, you know, basic communication in certain ways, which was
Mm-hmm.
something that if we're going to record, yes, we are. If we're not, this is something I used to go through with my partner JP, and I've told him face to face over the phone all the time for years. Like, yo, just basic communication. It's all good. And I know what to do from there. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like I'm going all over the place. My bad, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
But
you good.
but it literally was the attack on my mental and the seeing people who come up after a year do better than you or
Mm-hmm.
right out the gate. And one of the simple reasons why is something that Lou, if y'all haven't listened to the Everything podcast, the new episode, listen to it. Friends being friends and friends actually sharing your shit. You know what I'm saying? Small little gestures like that you could see people will galvanize around their friends or whatever, and help them get to top 100 status, help them get to fucking a thousand submissions or what is it, sponsors or views or things in episode, because the simple thing of their friends want to see them win. And many a times I felt like, yo, I call everybody friends. I try to help big up, promoted everybody. It never returned the same way. And that's a part why, yeah, okay, I'm 9 years coming in 2023 completely in podcasting, and yet I'm still on the same level. But if I don't open my mouth, I don't land the Blackfinity Gauntlet, I don't land Philly Cigar Week, I don't land New York Cigar Week, what I'm saying, like, I don't land what should be coming to 2023, our involvement in HNIC Con. Like, it's if I don't open my mouth, I don't get shit. But if I don't open my mouth or do shit, things don't go nowhere. If you kind of feel what I'm saying.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And all of that plus just like I realized like me being frustrated over here was microaggressioning on every little thing that my kids weren't doing. And I'm like, I don't cuss them out, but I get angry at them because they're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to see the microaggressions against them, and I just shut it all down. shut it all down, and then come back eventually. Shut it
Mhm.
all down and come back eventually, because you don't know. Yeah, after I pressed enter and sent that message to y'all, and then sent it to my crew, I literally got up from the couch, was crying, went to the bed, was laying next to my wife, was fucking bawling it out for a good 5-10 minutes, and then let it go. And it actually felt like a cleansing, and was like, you know what? I needed this shit. I needed
Word.
it. You know what I'm saying? And so it is what it is. And we back today, bitches. We
Yeah,
back
yeah,
today.
and that's like not on that's fucking growth. I mean, that's some grown man shit or whatever to recognize the issue, the
Mhm.
problem or whatever, and to make an executive decision, for your well being and the betterment of your family and everything to take a break or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean,
And
and
it was more here really
mhm,
in my brain, because I've described to y'all and I've described to the world. 2019, I was really ready to hang it up, unalive myself. And once I started to catch some of them same patterns, it was a definite. I didn't feel like I was in the vein of I wanted to unalive myself again, but to prevent myself from getting there,
mhm,
let's cut the shit and just chill the fuck out and back the
mhm.
fuck away from everything.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely. Because I mean, shit, a couple episodes back, right around the time what Jason David Frank, to use your term, unalived himself or whatever. I had that episode about suicide, man, and I felt the way Lou was talking about earlier, man. Is just like I don't have these feelings, and I didn't feel like really comfortable talking about the issue if I didn't, I didn't feel like I could talk to it intelligently enough or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
Right,
why the
right.
That's
episode was real short,
that
and I just
that's
said what I
exactly the
said.
word
And
I
yeah,
was that's exactly the word I was looking for. Speaking on it in an intelligent manner where um I'm not preaching to you, I'm not telling you, about shit. I'm giving you my perspective on
yeah,
what it is, and that's actually perfect.
Right. It's you discussing your growth. That's what it would be. It's more your growth than trying to think you're educating. But within how you deliver your message, you could be educating somebody else. You know,
Yeah.
that's why I'm not afraid. That's why I haven't been afraid to tell people openly, whether people ask, which generally doesn't happen, or not, because hey, you might listen to my story and something could correct it, help you see some light in yourself.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even though people don't listen unless you're a fucking celebrity, but it is what it is. Yeah, I don't need to go down that hole.
hmm yeah. Shit, where I got it? I'm trying to find it. I don't know if it got erased or not, but like I forget I'd done this a long ass time ago. But anytime the audio version of this show comes out, um, I have an old YouTube account that the audio would just automatically upload there.
Mm.
Yeah,
So when the suicide episode came out, this lady left a long ass comment about her mental health status and everything, and
Wow.
how how her parents would kind of be like, that thing is like, oh man, ain't nothing wrong with you,
yeah,
just
Yeah.
old school shit.
yeah, that
Yeah.
old school shit or whatever. And I've seen people go through shit like that with their families or whatever, and it's never ever turned out good. And I think that was like my response to her was like about getting help and everything, because I put the number for the suicide hotline in the episode title. It was like 988 or 998 or something like that. And that was what inspired her comment, was to where like she said she personally called that number and did not receive any help, or she felt like she didn't get enough help or
Wow.
whatever. And it's just like it was me and her going back and forth in the comments or whatever. And I'm trying to find it here on YouTube now, and I don't think it's even there anymore. But like that was some tough shit too. And that was kind of
Yeah.
like I wasn't afraid to answer her, because I mean I kind of felt like that's the response that I wanted to get from that episode or whatever.
Right.
Because like if somebody is willing to talk about that, about their mental state and everything like that, it's like good in a way, because they can confront those fears and everything and kind of steer them away from that eventuality maybe.
But that's crazy. You said that she said the 800 number did nothing for her.
Yeah, so I was just like, I
That's
don't know if
nuts.
this was a troll, if because like I'm trying to find the thing here and I don't see it up here. Maybe I'm a dumbass and not knowing how to use technology, which is
Yeah,
not
you
off.
would think too. These people who run those switchboards, man, how many calls they get, how many people they have to deal with, and
Yeah,
you can't. I would imagine you can't like talk everybody down. You know what I'm saying? There's some people are on different levels of depression and all that. So it's got to be a hard job, number one. So I can't imagine they're getting a lot of candidates for that position too. So
yeah, it's not even up here anymore.
she might have erased it, and then
Well,
it's
hold
just
on.
gonna erase the whole thread
Yeah,
once she does that.
I'm about to see if I'm on the right account because I don't know how to work technology. We know this.
But that's good that you at least got feedback on one of your shows, because that's one of the things I struggle with is like I'll get a couple likes and I'll literally ask questions on my show for
Yeah,
people and be like, hey, what do you think about, you know what I'm saying? And get nary a comment. I'll get a comment and get all excited and it'll be like, hey, promote on
yeah,
AOAOA.com. It's like,
that
you
shit.
motherfucker.
You got me, you sons of bitches. Yeah, man, I feel you. I mean, that's like um a big thing about all of this stuff is the feedback, and it goes into what Dan was talking about. It's just like you put in all this work, you put in all this time or whatever, and it's just like you feel like what you were just saying. I feel like I'm asking the smallest, most minuscule little thing. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
I asked a question. Can I get some feedback? Can I get a response? You know, and it is frustrating, but then like to me, doing it for this long and thinking back to the reason why I started doing podcasting or whatever, it was more so for me. It was to where like I wanted to have because yeah, I know I got a badass fucking memory. And I've said it. Yeah, I've experienced it. Oh, we were supposed to record today. Fuck, my bad.
Right.
Just shit like that. For me, it was just like a diary for lack of better terms or whatever, because like I'm gonna forget this shit one day. I'm gonna forget I said this one thing or whatever. I'm gonna forget that I felt this particular type of way about this certain type of thing and everything. And this would be cool to have this store like somewhat of a time capsule of my life, from a certain point and everything, because the time that I started this podcast, it was a transition from a life that I've known for the better part of 16 years, being in the military, to being a civilian, just like not having the military in my life anymore, So it was just like a crossroads for where I started at to where I am now, like going on 7 years later. It's just like weird to think that it's been 7 years that I have not been doing the thing that I've done most of my life so far, you know?
Yeah.
So it's cool to
Yeah.
kind of go back and revisit these episodes and just to be like, fuck, I was there. This is me. I mean, I don't even sound the same anymore, just the confidence
Right.
level, just the tonally, everything.
Yeah. Like I still want to try. I haven't found it yet, but I haven't dug. But I still want to hear because you brought it up many a times. Maybe you got to bring it back as like a flashback. Your first episodes, like your
Oh
first
boy.
maybe 3 or 4, where you mentioned like you would say my podcast. This is the podcast of the podcast and the podcast, and we used to do it in my friend's kitchen of the podcast. Like you used to
Yeah.
talk about it so much. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just recalling how much I pay attention to. Like, I want to hear them early joints. Like, I actually did that. Like, when we had a moment where, like, nothing was happening, I was throwing up the Star 5 podcast flashbacks. And I brought back from the beginnings of where
Mhm.
JP and I started. And then, even too, like, I started to listen to, like, the early shit of when it was just talking my team, me and Lance. And, like, we're going back to when Jadavion Clowney was coming out of college into the NFL, out of South Carolina into the NFL, and then when
Oh, hell no.
you you think about those people like that in the messages and stuff that you're talking about, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, damn, where did this time really go?
Mhm. Word. And then like another thing about it too. So like this is probably going to be episode 356 or something like that.
Wow.
So majority of those 356 episodes, I had a guest. I had somebody or somebody's on the show, to talk to. That was like what the show kind of evolved into. It was me by myself at first, a couple of people that I used to work with and everything. And then I just started doing solo episodes. Then I started getting guests. I started doing cross promotion. I mean, that's how, we're all three of us are here in this conversation right now, through, me getting guests and talking to people and networking and all kinds of things or whatever, to where like I can pinpoint the exact moment to where all this started to change and I started doing majority of solo episodes or whatever. And it's kind of like a combination of all the things that we've talked about so far. So it was which one came first? George Floyd or Ahmaud Arbery?
Ahmaud Arbery.
I think it was Arbery, yeah.
Yeah,
Ahmaud Arbery was first.
But it wasn't too far away from each other.
So it was more specifically Ahmaud Arbery or whatever. And I apologize if I mispronounced the name or whatever, but I'm terrible with everybody's name. It was that particular moment that shit happened. And it was me, freaking Brendan from Coke 45, I think maybe Aaron from State Your Take, and somebody else. We all got together, talked about the incident, and just the whole, the experience of being black and everything and whatnot. And I know I recorded that episode, and I'm not 100% sure if I put it out or not. Because, that's just how my brain works. I forget shit. Or sometimes, just like when you deal with certain traumas or what you perceive to be trauma, you put those things out of your mind. But when that incident happened with that young man or whatever, I remember doing that episode of that podcast or whatever, and I just kind of tuned the fuck out. I didn't want to deal with social media. I didn't really want to do the podcast. And that was kind of like the turn of all the things or whatever. I think I took 2 weeks off of social media. I don't recall or not if I told you I wasn't going to be online or whatever, but I was still open for text messages and all kinds of stuff like that. I would only check DMs. I wouldn't check my timelines. I wouldn't do none of that shit I did that for 2 whole weeks. To the point to where even my wife was like, why are you not on your phone? Just little shit like that. And it was to where I wasn't listening to anybody's podcast. I wasn't doing shit, and just I kind of lost the will to even go on with the podcast after that point, but I kind of felt like all the cool things because of it, I didn't want it to just die out like that, just to go off on a whim or whatever. So, I just kept it rolling. For those who do listen, and, Dan, you can probably speak to it too. Some of those shits was hella lackluster or lacking a feeling. And I can totally and fully admit that. But
2020 was a pretty fucked up year, man.
Oh, yeah.
That was a pretty shitty year. Ahmaud Arbery happened in February, and then Floyd happened in May. So that's not even, it's 4 or 5 months in that span. You know what I'm saying?
Ahmaud Arbery was.
I just looked it up.
Car, right?
I just looked it up. Yeah, he was the one that
Marbury was the one that jogging
was running, and they said that he went into the abandoned house.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then it was more of that too, because it was it wasn't just those two. It was old girl that got shot in her home with her freaking nephew Taylor. And shit, and just
Breonna Taylor that with her boyfriend, and the cops did the fake.
That year was just fucking.
Yeah. But no, I noticed when you started to go solo, to be honest with you, a majority of this year. Because with your work schedule changing and all of that, you've kind of expressed it even in the shows, if people paid attention, that your work schedule threw around so much to where you couldn't schedule guests as you usually do. You know what I'm saying? And so you continue to at least give us 5 minutes to 10 to 15 minutes. And that's commendable to, you at least cracking the mic. You know what I'm saying? On my break, I couldn't have none of it. I got nothing. The only thing I did do was continue to listen to everybody's shit.
Mhm.
I did do that because I didn't want to stop taking in. I just wasn't ready to put out.
Mhm.
And so much shit happened while we didn't do episodes that it's like it was like
Bubbling over and shit, right?
turned into
Yeah.
fucking mega mind and shit trying to explode, man. But
Mhm.
I gotta roll because we're starting and
Oh yeah.
10 minutes, 15
Or
minutes. And
what? Know what? You should have just you wait 5 more minutes, then you can be starting 5.
no, because I don't because if y'all know anything about me, I'm
Yeah, I know.
that one Negro that doesn't run on CPT.
I got you.
So y'all finish it out. The mayor's out. Make sure you're supporting everybody who was here, especially us with the starting 5. B Rob, we'll talk on the side because there's a record on your show that I want to break, whether you happen to want to do that with me or not.
Word.
I'm just putting that on wax. Now
All
that
right.
I'm back, we'll see what the fuck is going on. But 2023 better be a great year for everybody. If
Yeah.
not, I might actually get into my first fight and fuck somebody up since high school. I haven't fought since high school. I've been itching. And yeah, that's it. 13-1 Eagles. Peace.
All right. Take it easy, man. Y'all check out the Starting 5 podcast.
And fucking Eagles smoked the shit out of us. I didn't want to say that when he was here. I didn't want to give him the satisfaction. Last week they smoked the shit out the Giants, boy.
Yeah.
Exposed them.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, to also go on what he was saying, I mean, that also had a lot of play in me doing solo episodes too. Just the work just got fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Just I had a hell of a lot of hours, then I had no hours, then I had hours, and then like even those times in between to where like I was working 7 days straight, and then they would give me 7 days off. It's like in those 7 days, it's like, fuck, that was the last thing I could be even worried about is a goddamn podcast.
Yeah,
You
you'd be
know,
fucking exhausted.
just I wanted to fucking rest and relax and shit. And then like now that the older 2 kids are gone out of the house, it's just me and the young one. So like young child is starting to show interest in a lot of shit now. So like
Right.
anytime that I got loose to not like do anything, I gotta spend that. What not gotta? I mean, I want
Yeah.
to spend it with young
Yeah,
child
of
and
course.
shit. So it's just like to take away and try to schedule a motherfucker and track them down and book a date
Yeah.
and all kinds of stuff. I just rather take that time and energy, put it in a young child and shit to where I can
Yeah.
get crazy shit like this.
And it's funny that you brought that shit up. Oh, what is that? Oh, nice. Oh shit. Is
She
starting
painted
to
me
play
a
that?
guitar and shit. Just
Oh shit. That shit look more like a ukulele.
well, yeah. I mean, I'm a big man. That's why. See, you make
Hey.
that's why your belt looks small because you're a
Oh.
muscular, towering man and shit. I make
Yeah,
this
right.
guitar look
Exactly.
small.
Everything looks tiny. But it's funny the way you bring that up. It reminded me of when I was when I went through everything with my ex-wife. We separated and we were living together in the fucking apartment still for like
Oh, I've been there.
5
That shit
months after we
sucks.
separated, and it's because I didn't know what the fuck, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what was going on. The only thing I managed to do was I told my boss the next week after me and her, like, just we were deciding it was over. I told my boss, I need to go back to overnight.
Yeah.
He was like, are you sure? I'm like, right now, because I needed that money.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. So once I got myself away and I was in my own space, I said to myself, oh, this is perfect. Now I could go back to doing my shows, and I'll do them on Tuesdays because I used to do them on Wednesdays, and Tuesday's my day off at work. So that, I'll change it to that, and perfect. I'll have the whole day to plan it out. And dude, that pandemic came and I was working fucking like 60-hour fucking weeks overnight. And by the time I got home, bro, my
farthest
day
thing
off,
from your mind.
I was asleep. And it was even worse because we were in a pandemic, so you couldn't go anywhere.
Word.
So I was like, okay, it's a perfect excuse for me to fucking jump right into the bed and fucking sleep all goddamn day. Wake up, eat something, jerk off, and go right back to fucking sleep. It was like I had no energy to do anything, dude. And I almost died, bro. I almost fucking died when I thank God that I was fired from that job, because I took after like the first week of me freaking out, like, oh my God, I lost my job, whatever. I was in a good place as far as where I'm still living now. So I didn't have those worries on my back. I didn't have my spouse going, "Oh my God, what are we gonna do? We're gonna be homeless." And you don't have any of that shit because it's just me.
Yeah.
Once I got past that initial shock of everything, I started taking like personal inventory, and I remember I took a picture of my legs, and my ankles were like black,
Ew.
and I mean they were swollen to a point of like they looked like softballs. And I looked at that, and I was just like, dude, like how much longer was I going to be able to run like this? I don't think I was going to be able to. I went from So I worked the entire, I don't want to say the entire pandemic because technically we're still in the pandemic. But it was from that entire year of 2020. I worked straight through overnight every fucking day, 9:30 a.m., 9:30 p.m. till 9 in the morning, uh, every fucking day. And they were like, "I don't give a fuck about a pandemic. You better bring your ass to work." So
Yeah.
I didn't miss a day, and it was a nightmare trying to deal with new COVID protocols every week. There was a new protocol we had to do. Oh, now we can do this. Oh, now you can't do that. Oh, now you got to wear a mask. Oh, now you can't wear a mask. It was like on top of all the work we had to do. So it was like I didn't have time for anything else, bro. I
Yeah.
didn't. Podcasting was like the least thing from my mind. What am I going to talk about? Oh, being on lockdown sucks. Like, who the fuck wants to talk about that? So
Yeah.
yeah, it made for a long hiatus, but I feel good now, and I'm hoping that I can just continue to ride this wave of like excitement level that I have
Yeah.
for doing it.
Yeah. And then that was like another thing too that I kind of got weary of as well, because once I became a podcaster, I came kind of protective of this shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I would genuinely get excited, you know, in the before times, in the back before COVID, or even a little further back when I first started. For anybody who's like, "Oh man, I was thinking about starting a podcast." Hell yeah, let's start a
Yeah.
podcast. Well, this is what you need to do. You know, I'm there to the forefront. I'd be like, hey, try this out, do this.
How is it that we're like that? And it's just see, this is I don't mean to interrupt you. You can continue your thought, but it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, it's just like, oh, hey, you want to do this shit? Come on, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then to see the same person that, you know, just kind of had a thought about this thing to kind of like go in and just kind of fall right off the fucking map with the shit or whatever.
right.
It's just like, oh man, I put all that time to
Yeah.
help this person, and then just like whatever. But I mean, such is life, because I mean, I'm going
Yeah.
through with young child right now. You know, she have many interests in many different things or whatever. And then when I step in and be like, hey, you want to try this? Nah, that was so last week. you know, you know. So, and like when the pandemic did start or whatever, I knew and I felt that this thing was coming, to where, you know, now they're starting to market whole hog on people with those same thoughts and ideas. Like, hey, I might want to start a podcast, to where you can go to fucking Best Buy, Walmart, and all these other big retail stores or whatever, and they have a podcast specific section in
Mhm.
there now.
Yeah, that's
They're
crazy.
selling ring lights. They're selling the little portable little audio mixers and all kinds of shit, and remote
Yeah.
control this and that, and these fucking crazy LED lights that I have around me right now, which I got sucked into.
Mhm.
But it's just like the pandemic marketed to that specific group of people, because we had nothing to do, we had nowhere to go, and this is simple shit.
Yeah. It's
To
funny.
where we
I
had a
talked
bubble,
about
we
this.
had a boom.
Yeah, I talked about this with Dan before. Like we had issues before where there was a couple starting five podcasts. There
Mhm.
were a couple of the everything podcasts that popped up
Yeah,
literally years after mine. But you know, it wasn't a big deal. I used to get mad about that shit, but I'm like, dude, you'll notice like you look at them and they pop up and they're all hot and heavy for like the first month. They're pumping out episodes and shit, and then they miss an episode, and the next thing you know, they're just sitting there dormant.
yeah,
But man, that pandemic, boy, everybody and their fucking mother decided, hey, I'm gonna start a podcast. So now there's like the everything podcast. It's like everywhere, but these people put like ones in where the I is supposed to go because
yeah.
the name's been taken and shit. And it's like, bro,
I don't
when
get
I
it.
started my show, the only name I had in mind was the Everything Podcast. I was like, that's the name. Like there was no other name. And I Googled it. I went on the social media platforms. I looked it up. I didn't see anyone. I found a couple on like Instagram, but they were
Yeah.
like 2-3 years. They hadn't posted anything. And then I went on Google, I searched it, I looked for podcasts with that name. I found like the Everything Cookbook and the Everything Science, but the Everything Podcast together, I did not find.
The
So that's the
everything
name I
bagel
went with.
topping.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The Everything Bagel. Yeah, I see that all the time. And that's the name I went with. And I've seen people pop up. Like I got into an argument with one of these guys one time, and like it doesn't matter because I don't even know if they exist anymore. I don't even care. But
Yeah.
this dude made a Everything Podcast, and he started using the hashtag. And I'm like, bro, I know if you click on that hashtag, you're gonna see all my shit. You know why? Because I started it.
Yeah.
So I know you're gonna see my shit. I know if you type Everything Podcast in Google, my shit pops up on the top.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you like? I don't understand. So I reached out to him. I'm like, yo, hey, what's up? Like, what I did was he made a post. He made a couple posts, and I went into his post and I started putting the wave emoji. So it would say like the Everything Podcast with the wave emoji.
Yeah, I got you.
And then he hit me up. He's like, hey, what's up? I see we share the same name, blah, 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 blah. And I go, yeah, you know, you might want to change it because I've been doing this for a while. It's my name. I got shit everywhere. And he's like, oh yeah, nah, we searched and we looked before we started and we didn't
Like,
see anything,
bitch.
so we went with the name. I'm like, you fucking liar. You lying ass dog. So, I used to be the person who was like, when people would ask me, hey man, you do a podcast? I kind of want to start one. I'd be like, oh, let's sit down. Listen, what are your ideas? What do you want to do? What do you, and I'd tell them whatever. I'd be like, here's my email. If you want, I'll send you a paragraph of where you can go, how to upload your shit to iTunes, and like willing to help them do whatever they want to start a show. Now, fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, like,
we need
even,
less podcasts. We don't need more.
Yeah. I'm like, first off, I need to apologize to your trash brother, your trash boy, Nick Anicelli.
Oh shit.
Because I felt victim to the very thing that we are talking about right now. I had some internet issues at my house most recently. We lost internet connectivity. We didn't know why. They sent service techs out here to figure out the issue. And the site manager came to my house to check up on his boy, make sure he was doing his job. And I think I had either a Wrestling is Trash hat or something podcast related on me, on my person, on my body. And he was like, oh, what's that? I was like, oh, it's a podcast. He's like, oh shit, you do podcasts? And I was like, yeah, I do. He was like, I was thinking about doing a podcast. I was like, word, for real? Then me and him start rapping about, doing a podcast and everything. And this is where the apology to Nick comes in. For Christmas, I think last year or the year before, it might have been last year. It was probably more recent than that. My sister gave me a USB microphone in a box. She knew I did podcasting and everything. And so for my Christmas present, she gave me a microphone, which, as you can see now, I have this and I have many of microphones and everything for a podcast and all kinds of shit like that. So the microphone went into my desk drawer in a box, never to be seen again. Nick took over Wrestling is Trash, started doing the podcast more frequently and shit. I was like, hey, man, you need to get off your iPad and get you a motherfucking microphone. Matter of fact, I have a microphone that my sister gave me that I ain't even using, that's in a box, in a drawer, that I ain't doing shit with. I'll send it to you. Got Nick's address, and, life happens. Lazy as fuck on my off days. Never got to the post office to give Nick this goddamn microphone. He's even made jokes about it in our group chat saying, hey, when you gonna send that motherfucking microphone? I haven't done it. So I've known Nick for years. We cool to this day. But this random stranger motherfucker come to my door from AT&T.
Here you go.
Exactly. We got to rapping about the motherfucking podcast. I got all excited. I see the childlike glee in his eyes. And I went in my motherfucking office, grabbed that goddamn microphone out of the box, blew the dust off of it, and gave it to a complete stranger. And I was like, here, man. This is to
What a
start
guy.
you on your podcasting journey.
Jesus Christ.
You know, I was like, hey, shit, you got my information. If you have any questions,
Yeah.
you know, hit me up. You know, I gave him my contact info or whatever for the podcast. I was like, hey, man, if you got any questions about this shit, hit me up. And like, to me, in my mind, it's just a gesture of goodwill. It's just
Right.
like, I mean, I have this thing that I really don't need. You seem like you need it, or you might need it at some point in time. Here you go. And then
Yes.
soon as it left my hands and the guy, you know, bequeathed it to himself and got it in his grasp, I was like, fuck. Nick is
Yeah.
gonna be pissed.
Go forth, young man, and pod.
You know. So I do sincerely apologize
Yeah, but that's
to one
different
Mr.
though, because you gotta
Anicelli.
actually go and mail the shit and do all that. That's a mission, bro. Somebody just literally came to your house, and you're like, "Here you go." That's just, you know, you were just trying to be a kind human and help somebody out. So you can't feel too bad about that.
And
Nick
then
is funny though. Nick is funny. Like I'm doing these shows with Nick, and like I've been struggling with so far with Wrestling is Trash. I've gone through 2 laptops trying to get the perfect stream. I bought this thing, which I hate, but it's because I still can't get it to work right and give me the right lighting.
There you go. I
Yeah.
feel you.
And I got this thing here, which I love.
Mhm.
But Nick, every week he just comes up. He's like, "All right, we're ready to go." Like no change in anything, no lighting, no new mic, no
Nothing.
new anything to try to change his appearance or nothing. No, he just comes in, "All right, ready to go," and knocks it out. And it's like, God damn it, man.
I
I'm
wish
doing all this
wish
shit.
I was that carefree.
Yeah, I'm trying to do all this shit to get the perfect. Look at this. Let's see how like my shit goes light, dark. It's annoying.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
only thing I haven't figured out is my lighting.
I mean, look at us, man. I mean, right here. This
You
big,
have perfect lighting though.
this big beast right here. This goddamn Elgato light here. Motherfucking Stream Deck right here. Goddamn Zoom L8 fucking live track fucking mixer in the drawer right here. Just
So
all kinds of fucking crazy shit going on or whatever. And then I still
right.
have the most audio issues. And then just Nick old Joe Blow just sit there, pop his laptop on the countertop and like, let's rock.
His shit never freezes. It never cuts out. He never has issues with audio. It's always the same. It's always on point. It's like, God damn this guy, dude.
Yeah.
Because so again, I've been through 2 laptops. I had a laptop. Whenever I pulled this site up, it would give me all kind of connection issues. So I restored a fucking 13-year-old laptop. Got it to work. It was working good. I mean, I was having good streams on Wrestling is Trash. Then it started making noise.
Oh boy.
And you don't want a laptop making noise.
No,
That's
you
not
don't.
a good sign. So the hard drive was going. So I was like, okay, well, fuck this. I'm gonna go get the old laptop, which is the new laptop, and restore it again and try it again. Yeah. So I brought it back in here, plugged it in, put it into the LAN cable, and every time I pull up Restream, it says having issues connecting, low quality signal. I'm like, how the fuck you got low quality signal? I'm plugged in a goddamn LAN cable. So I bought this. Which if anyone does get to watch this, which I didn't know existed, is a fucking LAN adapter for the iPhone.
Yep.
So you can literally plug a LAN cable into this, plug a lightning cable into the other side, plug it into a USB, and you get your LAN into your phone. So I recorded last week's episode of Wrestling is Trash with it. Came out great. The only issue is the video quality was not perfect, but whatever.
So
last night.
Well, hold on, real quick. My question with that is like, which camera are you using? The front facing or the back camera?
Yeah, I was using the front facing camera.
All right. Yeah, try using can you use the back one?
I'm sure you can, but I try to like adjust it. I'm constantly adjusting and
I see
fixing
what you're saying.
and whatever. So last night, on Thursday, my brother was like, hey, because he's a technical he's an engineer, bro. He knows what he's doing. He's like, hey, on Saturday when I have time that night, we'll bring your laptop in my room. We'll fucking check out what's up with your memory, and maybe we'll restore it. Maybe put Linux in there. I don't know, but we'll figure something out. I'm like, okay, cool. So then last night was Saturday night. He calls me like at 8 o'clock. He's like, hey, bro, come here for a second. And I'm like, all right. I come over and he hands me a box. He goes, hey, Merry Christmas. I'm like, the fuck? Box says Acer on the front. I'm like,
Oh,
wait a minute, what? He's like, yeah, I know you were having your laptop issue, so I bought you this for early Christmas present. I'll give it to you now so you don't have to wait. This motherfucker bought me an Acer Swift 3,
ooh.
which I'm on right now. This is the fastest fucking dude. Pages open like
As soon
before
as I click it.
I look at it and it opens. Like it's got a fingerprint identifier in the corner, so I don't have to type in the code to get. I just put my fingerprint on the bitch. It opens up. I'm on
See,
Restream right now. It's flowing. It's beautiful. It's looking good.
this,
So
this is the thing, is what's happening to you right now, because the same thing happened to me before I got this computer set up and all this other crap. You were piecemealing all these laptops that you've had and all these
yeah,
other computers that you had together for so fucking long that to when you got something that actually is current and up to date and functions as it should,
this is
poof.
no, yeah.
Don't
This
know
is
what the fucking think
insanity.
about this shit.
This shit's insanity. I got it yesterday. I opened it up. I connected it to the Wi-Fi in the living room, and it was just doing the updating. That bitch was updating so fast. It was like restart. It restarted in seconds. Did the update, updated itself. It's ready to go.
Dude,
And
let
I'm
me
just
tell
like,
you.
fuck, man. My
Let me
brother
tell
rules.
you. Working with what 13-year-old MacBook Pro and just a shitty 8-year-old HP laptop, and just I've been through memory restoring, putting in new hard drives, just piecemealing this thing to make it work or whatever. I would record a 30-minute episode of Random Rambles with Rob, or even less, 30 minutes or less, and it would no shit take Audacity over an hour to encode this bitch and download it.
Oh my God.
To where when I finally got this big bitch that I got here, this computer that I got now, the first time I did a podcast, I think it might have been 45 minutes, maybe an hour or so. And I was like, oh shit, I can go make me something to eat real quick. I'll be right back. It should be done. I literally shit you not. I seen the download number. That bitch said 45 seconds. I was like, what?
Wow.
I was like, what is this?
That's fucking crazy, dude. Yeah, I'm curious to see how everything's gonna work now with this. Actually, we do need to chat about how to compress these video files on
Oh, I got you.
We Get It, because it's funny. Like last week we had Delvin on the show. Shout out to Delvin Cox.
That
And
sorry motherfucker.
that guy.
Oh, stupid son bitch. Nah, he's a good dude.
I can't say nothing bad about that dude, man.
I can't either. I have to make myself say something bad about him.
Yeah.
That's how good he is.
Like
Sorry, son of a bitch.
Like the nicest man on earth. He's so nice. I forgot what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So we were doing the show with him, and I told him 7, but then of course Nick can't do 7 because he's driving in crazy LA traffic. And he can do 8. So I told Delvin, hey, we got to do 8 o'clock. He's like, that's cool, but I got a show at 9. So we had an hour.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of shit to talk about this episode. We just happened to have a lot of content. And it sucks because I felt like the show was good, but at the same time, like we were kind of rushing through shit. When it got to like the 35-minute mark, you could kind of tell that I was kind of like, okay, guys, well, let's and kind of move forward, because we didn't know about how much time we had, because Nick keeps telling me we can't go over 115. We can't go over 115 because we're not going to be able to upload the whatever, because we don't know how to compress the shit yet. So
yeah,
we got to eliminate that problem, because these next 2 episodes is lengthy, the year-end show. So it's probably going to go long.
Yeah.
So I need to be able to compress the
I
shit.
tried to show Nick, but I mean, that's another different thing or whatever. I put you on game.
Nice. Mm-hmm. That'll work.
Yeah, because you can't do that shit on a freaking iPad there, Nick.
Yeah, really. Because it was it should be everything should be cake on here. I actually logged into the Restream last night with the code and everything, just to kind of play with it, and I should be able to do all that shit from here. So, and I downloaded Audacity on this fucking thing.
Good.
because I use Audacity on my previous laptops. I downloaded Audacity on this thing, and it's like from the future. I was like, "What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this Audacity? This doesn't look like the
It
one I
doesn't
got
look
on my
like what I
laptop."
used to have. Yeah, they did a
Yeah, that
recent.
shit looks all shiny and futuristic. I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" So I gotta
Yeah.
like play with that now.
Yeah, they just recently did a facelift on it and they did an
Yeah,
update
shit
and
looks
shit.
good.
Yeah. But shit, I mean, this was supposed to be a 30, 35-minute, 40-minute podcast or whatever. We here at hour 30. I appreciate you, Carl, Dan, for popping in or whatever. And before you go, and which I should have asked them, I know Carl was actually literally not at
On the
home. He
road.
was out in the
Literally on the
world
road.
doing shit. Plug your wares, sir. Let everybody know where they can find you. I know we talked about it
Well.
enough, but let more people know.
Well, this is your boy Lou from the BX, host of the Everything Podcast, co-host of the Wrestling is Trash podcast, and you can find all of my content on the Everything Podcast Instagram page. When you get on there, my Drum.io link is in the bio, and that bitch will take you to everything. The Twitch page I never use,
Same.
all the audio. Yeah, it's Twitch. I don't understand that shit. All the different ways you can listen to the audio podcast is on there. The Wrestling is Trash YouTube page is on there. We would really appreciate you guys signing up to that page. We already doubled our subscriptions, and I don't want to say how many we doubled because it's embarrassing, but we doubled it. That's all that matters. It
went from 0 to some numbers.
It went from 0 to 1. We doubled it.
Hey, I know it's at least 2 because I follow from 2 accounts.
Oh yeah, no, I was actually surprised. Well, again, whatever. We don't have no shame in our game. I was like, I looked at it and it was like, oh shit, it's in double digits now. What the fuck? What happened? Where do we get these people to come from?
Yeah.
But it was very cool to see that this morning. So please, if you can, hit us up on the YouTube page. There may be a Wrestling is Trash TikTok page coming, but I need Nick to kind of nothing against my boy, but I cannot run the YouTube page and the TikTok page and the Instagram page.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I can't. Don't overwhelm yourself.
Don't overwhelm yourself. It's too much. So I've been throwing up the Wrestling is Trash content on my TikTok page, which is totally fine. I don't mind doing it. It's getting me views, so it's all good. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers on there so I can go live and we can do some shit on there. But all in due time. All in due time.
It'll get there. Word.
Absolutely.
But hey, I mean, that was it. It was supposed to be like a little short impromptu thing, but we covered the gambit of all kinds of things and whatnot. And with that being said, we appreciate you for listening to the Random Rounds with Rob. And now y'all can go the fuck home. See you next time. Hey, he's the champ. He's the champ.
Peace from the champ.